Hi Taurus, welcome back to Wandering Magic. These are going to be your April 2026 messages, and it's going to be for April. I'm sorry, for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Happy birthday if your birthday is in April, Taurus. All right, we are going to start off with the Gypsy Witch Tarot. It's actually a fortune telling deck. But before we do, let's quickly talk about some astrological points. So, for April 1st, we have that Libra full moon. For April 9th, we have Mars entering Aries. And then for April 14th, we have Mercury entering Aries. So this essentially is about emotional clarity. You are wondering where to put things and how to fit things in. Um, this especially has to do with emotional clarity with relationships, romantic or platonic. But with Mars and Mercury entering Aries, this is a boost of confidence, taking action, being careful with impulsivity, all of these things. Very direct communication happening this month, but also being careful with misunderstandings. So, with that very brief overview, let's get into what came out. As you can see here, we have the Queen of Spades and the Jack of Clubs. Essentially, uh, the Queen here is about love and being someone like someone viewing you or you viewing them as and having this longing for them in love. Um, and this Jack is about business success. I'm getting two messages here. One, work is becoming a problem in your relationship. So one of you either has a job that is stressful and you're bringing that home, or when you come together, it's kind of like all you're talking about, and it's just like, can we talk about something else, sort of thing. Um, for others of you, this is about what I'm getting here. Really, it's in general. This is you at odds with each other, and there are miscommunications. You're trying to get it right. There's a lot of effort I'm getting that's you're trying to get it right, but essentially with these two at the top, they're opposing, and then here it's like they're facing each other. So there's this duality happening where what I'm getting is it's you're more at odds than you are coming together. And you want this to be successful. You really, I'm getting like, want this to work, but you're like, how? Now, this doesn't have to just be about romantic love. This could also be about a job or um, a relationship with friends or siblings or however, you know, uh, however this fits. Don't try to force this to fit. See where it fits in your life. But there's this polarity happening here. It's a pull. It's like two magnets trying to come together, but it's not working anymore. It's not working because it does feel like you're trying to force the issue a little bit. You also have flexible. It's card 19. Card 19, 1 plus 9 equals 10. 10, as we know, is about endings, but with every ending there is a beginning. And so I think what's happening here is you really want to see, is it's making that decision. Am I going to hold this together, or am I going to just pull it apart? And knowing what's necessary, but also being very open minded. What is the other person saying? What's the other person feeling? But obviously, putting yourself first. So, keeping those things in mind, remain flexible, be open minded. Don't move too quickly and don't make a decision too quickly. Now, if you have made the decision in your mind and you just haven't communicated that, this is about having direct communication, but also giving them potentially the benefit of the doubt. Have you actually sat down and had these conversations, or was it brought up in a roundabout kind of way? So you want to make sure you're being very clear with what you're saying and being very direct and confident and like, this is it. This is how I feel. This is what I want. This is what I need. You might have to go to work and have that conversation with your boss. I'm getting a lot of you getting this energy of, I got nothing to lose. I'm also getting like, I'm getting too old for this. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I don't feel how I used to when I was younger. And this doesn't mean that your feelings change. I'm getting, it's more of a, this is what you won't tolerate anymore, is what that feels like. Okay. For your tarot messages, you have the Seven of Wands, you have the Three of Swords, and you have the Hermit card. You really put your defenses down. And I'm also getting, for some of you, you were ignoring something. It's kind of like being in a relationship where everyone's against you, and you and your partner are so fixated on the fact of, they're haters, we're not going to listen to them. And you just make it work, or try to make it work, despite what you know you should do. And so what's happening is, now you're kind of coming to this moment where you're like, I think I have to break my own heart. And unfortunately, here's the thing. I said you have to break your own heart. I don't know if you've actually felt that before, but it's kind of loving someone enough to let them go. But that's might be what's happening here. Um, Tapping into this a little bit more. Okay. You let your guard down. You trusted this was going to work. You wanted it to work. And again, this doesn't have to be about love. So I really want you to open your mind, even when I'm saying things like that. Because this could be a job that everyone told you not to take, but then you took it anyway. And now you're miserable, but because you don't want anyone to say, hey, I told you so, you're staying at the job, but you're miserable. Um, I'm getting like this underlining fear as well. Um, and it feels more of like fear of the unknown. And that's a very logical thing to feel. But more what I'm getting to is operating from the ego. You're operating too much from the logical mind and not the spiritual side of things. What message is really trying to come in here? And how can you bring yourself to come to a realization that all these things are happening for a bigger purpose that you can't see with these eyes, but with this one, right? So these physical eyes, not your third eye. How can you make yourself understand that? You have to really go within, and you have to search within to see that this is all happening and you cannot control it anymore. It's happening. For some of you, this is involving a Virgo. Doesn't have to be everyone, but the Hermit is ruled by a Virgo, or by Virgos. So either breaking your own heart, or I feel someone's feelings are going to get hurt. But because that is happening, you also are feeling that as well. But that should not, it shouldn't rule, it should not rule your decision making because of how someone else feels. Because that means you're not putting yourself first. And so you need to bring yourself front and center to really eventually have the situation work for everyone, even if it doesn't mean you're doing it together. But it just feels like you keep putting glue on a situation and it keeps falling apart. More so, you're putting tape on it instead of using like Gorilla Glue or Super Glue to really hold it together. The tape is falling off. What I just saw was a water hose, and it has like a hole in it, and someone just keeps putting tape around it, um, to fix it. But with that happening, it's kind of working, but the water is seeping out of the tape, and that is not ideal. It's not good. Um, with this energy, with Mercury entering Mars, and Mars and did I say Mercury entering Aries? Sorry, because Mars rules Aries is what I'm thinking. With all that happening, really just be again. I'm getting the biggest message for you is be direct, be careful with misunderstandings, make sure you're being very clear, and you're not beating around the bush. More importantly, you have to take action. You have to take action this month. Yeah, I'm getting to um that this is difficult because it feels like such a strong, deep connection, and the other person saying like this is not fair. But the thing is, you know that it's not good for you. And you remember when I said fear of the unknown? That's what's happening here. You have to be comfortable with that. Like, just because you don't know the answer, that's again, you have to let go of this control. You're trying too much to control something. Your fairy message says don't give up. Tomorrow brings new hope for a brighter future. But then for your angel message, it says in the near future. Watch your sun, moon, and rising for any additional messages. Take care, and I'll see you next time.